All right, guys, we're talking about new fragrances on the horizon. Some of these have already dropped, some are on their way. Find out about new fragrances, all coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Sebastian, talking to you about the latest fragrances that you might want to check out and get your nose on. There's a lot of fragrances here that I'm going to talk to you about, and a couple of bonus options in the bonus section after the outro. But let me know if there's something you're excited about that you've got your eye on and you want to get your nose on. Add a comment and let me find out what it is and let everybody else find out. But the first fragrance is rumored to be launching. It's a Dior Privé fragrance, and this time in the Esprit de Parfum collection. It's rumored that Bois d'Argent is dropping very soon in the Esprit de Parfum collection. If you recall, I prefer Rouge Trafalgar in this collection, followed by Gris Dior. Those are my two favorites, and I'm curious to see what they've done with Bois d'Argent when they move it into the Esprit de Parfum collection. If anybody's gotten their nose on, and if you've got any extra info on this release, let us know, add a comment below. But heading over to Marc-Antoine Barrois, he's got a new fragrance called Aldebaran. I got my nose on this in September, October, late September, early October during TFWA. But I was told I can't, reveal it until it launches, obviously, this year. So when I smelled it, I thought, okay, I was told it was Tuberose, and I was told obviously it's Quentin Bisch because he's created all the fragrances for Marc-Antoine Barrois. I thought another Tuberose, he already did one for Maison Crivelli. I sampled it, nothing alike, and I felt like the Paprika Accord was extremely smoky peppery with the Tuberose. So this was just a sniff, it wasn't on skin, and it wasn't a favorite. So if you've gotten your nose on it, let me know your thoughts on it, and I'm going to try and get my nose on it as well. I felt like the best release for Marc-Antoine Barrois is still Ganymede, and there's a few others that I like, but this one didn't do it for me, but maybe it's doing it for you. But it features Tuberose, Paprika, Mate, and Tonka beans, the latest launch from Marc-Antoine Barrois. But we've got another fragrance from the house of L'Artisan Parfumeur. It's MINUIT à Paris. It's created by Mathilde Bijaoui. Vanilla, pink pepper, and rum. From what I've heard or read, this is a limited edition fragrance. And so let's see if it makes it all the way here. Sadly, I haven't been experiencing this house very well. It's currently under Puig, the Spanish conglomerate, along with Penhaligon's. They kind of like joint bought these two brands. But it's kind of been underwhelming lately. So let's see what this one's all about. If you've got your nose on this latest release from L'Artisan Parfumeur, let me know. But moving on to the house of CELINE, we've got Unité Française. The latest release from this house, it seems like a freshie with a bit of a vanillic ambery dry down or a base. So let's see how this one is. It has notes of Broom, Bergamot, Neroli, Petitgrain, and vanilla. Same thing with CELINE. I've been a bit underwhelmed lately. Zuzu was good, but it just wanted it to be a bit beefier. It wasn't created with a lot of strength. I like Black Tie quite a bit, and I also like Dans Paris. I do like Zuzu if it's like overly sprayed, but I just wish the fragrances are a bit more oomphy. Let's see what this latest fragrance is going to be like. If you've got your nose on it, do let us know. But also, YSL has a new fragrance called Muse, created by Marie Salamagne. She's a perfumer for all of the fragrances at Atelier des Ors. And this one, looking at the notes, looks like it's going to be like Dior Homme Intense. Has anybody gotten their nose on Muse, and what do you think about it? I've actually ordered this from Harrods. I'm waiting for my bottle to arrive. Let's see how it is. I'll report on it as soon as I get it. But it has notes of Orris, lavender, ink, vanilla, ambrette, clary sage, incense, and amberwood. To me, it reads like the notes breakdown for Dior Homme Intense. Let's see what it's all about. She did create a fragrance for Atelier des Ors. It's called Iris Fauve or Eerie Fauve. So I don't know if it's like that or if it's like Dior Homme Intense or if it's something completely new. I like some of her creations, like the latest, the one that she did the extract for Atelier des Ors. It's the cacao one. That one's really solid and really delicious and musky. So hoping this one's going to be as good. And maybe it's going to compete with Baby Cat. So we've got a fragrance from the house of AKRO also called Breathe, another freshie. This time it's musk, bergamot, lavender, watery, aquatic notes. So seems very simplistic, and I like AKRO quite a bit. Lately, it's a bit underwhelming. The smoke is still my favorite, and this one seems like it's going to be extremely light, perfect for probably hot days. And I thought they had something similar to this. So it's basically musky with citruses and aromatics, and that whole watery note is going to make it really light and easy to wear. So we shall see how it is. AKRO Breathe. It is probably launched already or launching very, very soon. And another one from the house of Guerlain called Ambre Samar, created by Delphine Jelk. Oh, the fragrances of AKRO are all created by Olivier Crest. But back to Guerlain, Ambre Samar. This one actually sounds quite nice. I'm curious to see what it's all about. Amber Gold Accord, Amber Tincture, Tonka Beans, Almonds, Benzoin, Patchouli, Cardamom, Frankincense, and Davana. This one sounds really delicious. Gorgeous red bottle. I can't wait to get my nose on this one. Let me know if you've sampled this one already. Then we've got a fragrance from the house of Ormond Jane called Vetiveria. So I actually sat with Linda of Ormond Jane, shot a video with her in her store in the Royal Arcade in London when I was in London last month. So that video should air very soon if it hasn't already aired. And we discussed this latest fragrance called Vetiveria. So she used to have another vetiver fragrance. They had to pull it because of regulations with ingredients. So they've created a new fragrance. In that video, you'll also see me sampling Timur pepper, which she highlights. And so it's featured in the fragrance. Really awesome note that she's using in Vetiveria. But Vetiveria is notes of vetiver, Timur pepper, lavender, lime, sage, juniper, tonka, bellflower, jasmine, orange, moss, and rock rose. I think if you're a fan of vetiver, you're gonna really, really enjoy this one. Lately, my two favorites have been Vanille des Afriques, Intensivo, and also Cashmere. Cashmere, I actually knew about it, but somehow I sampled it again and it really excited me of the way it smells. So Cashmere has become really great. I think this one will be also a good one for people, but make sure you catch my video with Linda of Ormond Jane where she's discussing this fragrance and we're talking about some of her fragrances. But the next fragrance, I think this is still selling. I thought it was a limited edition, and also I thought it was an April Fool's joke over at Imaginary Authors. It's called A Little Secret. So I got the email from Imaginary Authors on April 1, April Fool's Day. I read about it, I ordered it, and I got a free mug with it as well, as you can see right here. So it's a mug. It says a slice of cherry pie and a cup of coffee. This came free when you bought the fragrance. And I'll let you know a little bit more about this fragrance. I already posted about it on Instagram. If you don't follow me there, maybe I posted here in the community pages as well. So it's a cherry fragrance, unlike other cherry fragrances. It's Rainier cherries, marzipan, patchouli, saffron, demerara sugar, rum-soaked tonka, pastry crust. So I get a bit of a greenness running throughout the fragrance and a bit of smokiness, almost like greasy, oily, but more about a syrupy molasses oil, kind of like burning on stove and thickening. So it's giving me that kind of a vibe. I like that it has patchouli, and this thing when it's drying down on skin, it gets a bit soapy. So it's a very unique cherry, unlike anything else that I've smelled as far as cherry fragrances go. And if you can get it, a bottle, get it, because it's interesting. I get that greasy oiliness with the smokiness of like I said, making some kind of a syrup or molasses, just cooking it on stove. It thickens and things like that, with that fruitiness, because it's usually made with like a fruit or something. So you get that idea, but when it's drying down, it goes quite soapy on me, which is really, really fun. I like that fragrance. It's definitely a nice change of what I've bought from this brand lately. And I really like the way this one smells. So this is A Little Secret from the house of Imaginary Authors. Again, I don't know if it's still selling. If it is, check it out. Maybe you can buy a sample or something, or buy yourself a bottle. All right, next up, we're going to the house of Parfums de Marly. We've got a fragrance called Castly, and judging by the notes breakdown, it's a Givaudan Parfumeur, a Kigala wood, bergamot, benzoin, labdanum, ginger, black pepper, as well as pepper and Timur pepper, along with Neroli and Petitgrain. Is this created by Quentin Bisch? We know he's already done Delina for the brand. Is this going to be the big one? I think the Delina is the most popular from the house of Parfums de Marly. We shall see who the perfumer is, but it's definitely Givaudan because they're using that ingredient, Akigala wood. It does sound like a freshie. It also, when you look at the notes breakdown, it's kind of like something like Tigar from the house of Bulgari or Vibrato from the house of Sospiro. So it's kind of in that ballpark of that kind of a style of fragrance. So as soon as I get my nose on it, we shall see what it's all about. But moving on, as I reported, in my review for Mugler's Angel Stellar, there is an Amen Stellar coming. At that time, I knew that it should arrive because some folks were telling me there was already some rumors about it. So it's definitely coming. And I can't wait to get my bottle to tell you guys all about it. I'm so impressed with the quality of Angel Stellar. I'm hoping this one's going to be similar with its, strong beefiness and things like that. The previous one, is it Phantasm? That one is, it's okay. I liked it. I didn't love it because it was a bit wimpy for me. I felt like the Angel was a bit stronger than the men's Amen version of Phantasm. But I feel like Stellar's even better for women. So let's hope that it's going to be the same case with the men's Amen. But it's lavender, mint and pistachio, bergamot, tonka, warm musk, coffee, and styrax. There's no patchouli mentioned here. Is it just left off? Is there none? Because that's typically what our favorite note is for Mugler fragrances most of the time. And it is prominent in Angel Stellar, so I'm surprised it's left off for Amen Stellar. I think Angel Stellar is so good, unisex enough for a man to wear, so check it out. And let's see what the Amen Stellar is all about. If you've gotten your nose on it, do let us know. Add a comment below. But moving on to a house called Scentologia. I haven't really spoken about this house much, but I caught this one and I was quite intrigued by the way the fragrance or the notes breakdown is, so I'm reporting on it. It's called Lactonic with 2 periods between the LAC and the TON and the IC. So it's created by Maurice Roussel and Margherita Carini, so most likely Symrise perfumers. We've got Sandalwood, Lily of the Valley, Milk, Mandarin, Vanilla Caramel, Ambrose Star, Ylang Ylang Pistachio once again, Almonds, Bergamot, and Coconut. Anybody familiar with this house? Do you like their fragrances? They don't really sell here in the States yet, at least not at Lucky Scent. I haven't seen them there. I haven't seen them at ZGO. I've sampled their fragrances in passing, and they seemed pretty intense. And I do like lactonic fragrances, so let's see what this one's all about. And I think they strictly use Symrise perfumers. Maurice Roussel is a Symrise, meaning they work with this firm which houses perfumers and ingredients, and they work with all the perfumers and their own ingredients at this firm, Symrise. So let's see what this one's all about. If you've got your nose on it, let us know. And this next one sounds really great as well, from the house of Victor and Rolf. It's Spice Bomb Metallic Musk. Anything musky is something that I really like to check out. And let's see what direction this is going, because it's normally warm spicy tobacco, but it's going in such a different direction. It's called Metallic Musk, and it's featuring aldehydes as a note, so aldehydes do generally create a metallic effect in fragrances. This time it's created by Jean-Christophe Herol, according to my research, and if you've been following me, you should have caught a video of me chatting with Jean-Christophe Herol of fragrances he's created for the House of Jacques Fat. His most famous fragrance is Aventus, by the way, if you're unfamiliar with this perfumer, but this fragrance, as I said, features notes of aldehydes, along with musk, cinnamon, cloves, leather, black pepper, elemi, and bergamot. So it seems like the spices are kept in there. They've added the aldehydes quite a bit, and of course the musk. So it's a musk and metallic, so aldehydes and musk together. Plus, you've got some additional notes and leather and things like that. I'm really excited about this one. I hope it doesn't disappoint. We shall see, because sometimes it sounds great, but they've added something in the fragrance that in a lot of other men's fragrances, it just totally disappoints. So we shall see how this one is. Let me know if you've sampled it. But moving on to the house of Estee Lauder, this is White Linen Oud Legacy. So I don't know who the perfumers, I thought I saw the perfumers when I first heard about it, but I couldn't find it on my research. I could have sworn it's like IFF perfumers, but if you know, let us know. Add a comment below. It is under the creative direction of Frederick Malle. So he did the creative direction of this. It's White Linen Oud Legacy, and it features notes of aldehydes, rose, jasmine, oud accord, amber, which is mostly labdanum, vetiver, cypriol, and olibanum. I can't remember if I shot a video of the fragrances, the 5 fragrances that already exist in this collection. I thought I shot it before I left to Europe on this last trip, because I ended up buying all minis of these fragrances, and I thought I shot a video, and one of them obviously is White Linen, the Legacy, right there. So now they've thrown in the oud, and I think this is a Harrods exclusive. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it won't stay a Harrods exclusive, but right now I think it's only selling at Harrods. If you've gotten your nose on it, let us know. I'm curious to get my nose on it to see what it's all about. But moving on to the house of Dolce & Gabbana, we've got a duo of fragrances for the men and of course the ladies, and this is called Capri in Love. So the women's version is created by Emily Bevier Copperman. It's jasmine tea, green apples, and longoza. And the men's version is created by Alexandra Carlan, and it's patchouli, Italian figs, and black pepper. So I like these bottles. I think the previous year they also launched similar bottles, but this time the coloring is really, really strong and the bottles really stand out. So I'm curious to see. But the previous year, I think they used the same perfumers of the series. This year, they're going with completely new perfumers, because I believe the woman's version originally was created by Olivier Cresp, who's a Firmenich perfumer. And then the men's version, was created by Alberto Morias. But now they're two different female perfumers. And we shall see how these are when they're launched. Let me know if you've gotten your nose on them. So next up, going to the house of Parfums Dusita. It's the latest fragrance Tonka Latte, which I happen to have a bottle here, a signed bottle from the perfumer Pisada. And I have a video on the channel, a shot during Incense earlier this year when we're discussing this fragrance. It was just premiering at that time. And I knew that she was creating a gourmand I found out about last September when I spoke to her in Cannes for that show. So it's finally here, and I believe it's, rolling out, and it is quite delicious, guys, if you haven't tried this one. It's certainly nutty because the tonka beans have a nutty presence, also bitter, and then it's also very honeyed, lactonic, vanillic, and a bit chocolatey as well. You can smell all of that. And even though it's called latte, there's no coffee here. So it's the milk idea. It's very, very milky, lactonic, and it's super delicious. You're gonna really, really love it if you're a gourmand fan. So it's tonka beans, white chocolate, vanilla, milk, benzoin, honey, almonds, caramel, and musk. It's super delicious, guys. Check it out. Tonka Latte from the house of Dusita. And speaking of almondy notes, we've got a new one from Nuit Nomade, and I posted about this on Instagram. It's Chemin d'Amande. So it's an almond balm. It's the fourth extract from this house, Nuit Nomade, one of my favorite French houses, featuring notes of almonds, almond blossom, vanilla, and woods. As soon as I, get myself a bottle, I'll report back on it. It might be my second favorite in the collection of extracts. We shall see. But once again, it's a super delicious gourmand from Nuit Nomade and created by Jerome Di Marino. They've been working with this perfumer quite a bit, and it seems like Room 1015 is also working with this perfumer now as well, after Wave Child and Jasmine Freak. But moving on to the last fragrance, it's Mercedes-Benz Club Black in Eau de Parfum concentration. So they're launching a flanker of the popular Cheapy in EDT, and this time it's in EDP. And it's three perfumers from Firmenich, and I think the original was created by Olivier Cresp, or one of those perfumers. It's either Fabrice Pellegrin, Hamid Maradi Kashani, or Olivier Cresp. So the original is really, really popular. People seem to love it. It's targeted to men. It's totally unisex, I think. And it's vanilla, elemi, myrrh, ambrox super, amberwood, bergamot, jasmine, and musk. Let's see what they've done with this. It seems like it's going to be more intense, obviously, because it's eau de parfum concentration versus an eau de toilette. And I think the eau de toilette is pretty decent in longevity anyway. It's a super dry fragrance. And let's hope that this goes into a bit more ambery, syrupy direction, and the dryness kind of is removed. But I'm excited for this one. We shall see how it is. Again, if you've gotten your nose on any of these fragrances, let me know. Let us all know. Add a comment below so we can find out. But thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. So thanks so much for sticking around for the bonus content or bonus fragrances here. I'm talking about Bulgari. So basically we're talking about two existing fragrances. One is the Eau Parfumée Thé Vert. It used to be in Eau de Cologne concentration, and the reason I'm reporting is because they've now been changed to Eau de Toilette. So they've intensified the fragrance. I haven't got my nose on the Eau de Toilette. I have both the Thé Vert and Thé Blanc in Eau de Cologne, and I'm hoping that they are more intense and they've been intensified and things like that. So we shall see. I don't know if the smell has changed, But the Thé Vert is created by Jean-Claude Helena. But between the two, the Thé Vert versus the Thé Blanc, I much prefer the Thé Blanc. And the Thé Blanc is created by Jacques Cavalier. He is the in-house perfumer over at Louis Vuitton. So these are both in eau de cologne concentration. And between the two, as I said, I prefer the Thé Blanc. But let me tell you a little bit more about these two fragrances. The Thé Vert was launched early in the 90s, might be like mid to somewhere around there, but it's featuring notes of tea, cardamom, bergamot, lemons, coriander, orange blossom, jasmine, cedar, musk, lily of the valley, mandarin, woods, and sandalwood. So this is a long-standing fragrance and it's been very, very popular. So let's see if the smell has changed, because usually when you're changing or playing around with the concentration, the smell does change. And since it was launched as an eau de cologne, now they're intensifying it, it might not smell the same, but I'm sure what they tried to do is to recreate the fragrance to smell very similar to the original. But to me, I love green tea fragrances. This is not my favorite. It's something about it reminds me of a lot of green powder, and I like my green tea fragrances to be smoother, a little bit more syrupier rather than powder. It comes off very powdery to me, so it doesn't turn out to be my favorite green tea fragrance, but I think it's pretty solid for some folks. They really love it, and according to, Bulgari, I think it's one of their biggest sellers. But between the two, I much prefer the Thé Blanc. Thé Blanc is super smooth and clean, and it's white tea, basically. It's tea, artemisia, musk, pepper, woodsy notes, jasmine, amber, rose, orange blossom, bergamot, bitter orange, cardamom, and coriander. And again, this one's created by the perfumer Jacques Cavalier, who does all the Louis Vuitton fragrances, and the Thé Vert was Jean-Claude Helena. But the Thé Blanc, super smooth, super soft. It's like a pillow, like a cloud that you're like bouncing around. It's very, very clean, but it's also very smooth and just really, really wonderfully done. I love that fragrance. So we shall see what they've done to these two fragrances. Has the smell changed? I actually reported about this concentration change early this year, I believe, or it could have been late last year, but it's finally out and we shall see. But pretty long-standing fragrances, these two. At one time, they had black, they had red, they had blue tea, all of these different tea fragrances. I don't know if they're still out there selling, but I believe these two have been quite successful. And so they've kept both Thé Blanc and, of course, Thé Vert, which was the original that dropped from Bulgari. It seems interesting that Bulgari does quite a bit of tea fragrances, because Bulgari Pour Homme at one time was a very popular fragrance, a series of fragrances for men that was also a tea-focused fragrance for men. Let me know if you're a fan of that one. I believe the EDP was recently re-released. I haven't bought it in a long time. I need to buy a bottle, but let me know if you guys have tried the new men's Bulgari Pour Homme in eau de parfum concentration, because it was relaunched recently. Anyway, thanks so much for sticking around. See you guys later. Bye-bye.